Tonight at 5, why UW-Madison students are pushing for more mental health care resources on campus, and how warmer weather in southern Wisconsin is bringing a new set of concerns when it comes to fire safety. And President Biden visits Northern Ireland to celebrate 25 years of peace under the Good Friday Agreement. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. A UW-Madison student is taking action on what he is calling a mental health crisis on campus. Leland Hermes has started a petition for UW to provide more mental health care for the student body. Our Andrew Banstra has the story.
For this UW senior, mental health hits so close to home, he had to do something about what he calls a mental health crisis on campus.
I lost my dad back in 2020. He took his own life, and so I've always just kept that close to my heart. And so I really just don't want people to be in that same scenario.
After a UW student died unexpectedly on campus, a UW senior, Leland Hermes, started a petition asking the University Health Services to double their staff for mental health services.
So we have our own 1,600 signatures currently.
Through UW's UHS, students can find a therapist. He says right now students are telling him that after a screening process, they're waiting about a month for an appointment, leaving many students alone in their worst moments.
People have been going to UHS for a long time trying to get the help they need, and they get turned away, or they just don't have enough therapists.
The American Psychological Association says 60% of college students have a mental health problem. At UW, there are nearly 50,000 students, but only 75 UHS employees are listed on their website that are designated for mental health services. He was crystal clear this is not an attack on UHS, who he says are working tirelessly.
It's a limited resources issue for them, and I think that's really where our concern is they need to get the help that they need as well, because then they're drained and they're trying to help us out.
In his opinion, it's a staffing and resources issue.
Even if you can't get that help, you can't reach a therapist, try a crisis hotline, try something, anything, just don't go there,
Andrew Banstra reporting. In a statement from the executive director for University Health Services, Jake Baggett, to News 3 Now reads, in part, quote, "We are also aware of perceptions on campus that students cannot access mental health services within the time frames they need. It is important to us that students have clear and accurate information about what is available to them and how to access critical services for mental health, especially in times of crisis." Leland told News 3 Now that he has a meeting with UHS later this week to discuss ways UHS can best serve the student body. Well, let's get a look at our first warn forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is out on the weather patio. Another warm, beautiful day, Gary.
Yeah, lots of sunshine, and temperatures continue to warm up, but the humidity levels are down. That could be a problem. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. Sunny skies statewide, just a few cirrus clouds overhead. So the sun is really able to warm us up, and not a drop of rain anywhere around us because the air is just so dry across the upper Midwest. Current temperatures into the 70s, well into the 70s. Madison right now, 75 degrees. Janesville, 79 degrees. And you can see across Dane County, 77 in Oregon, 78 degrees in Middleton, and 77 up to the north in Wanakee. But those relative humidities are low. They're in the 25 to 30% range. Some areas closer to about 20%. That is enough that the DNR has said basically there's a critical fire danger for tomorrow. So the National Weather Service issued a fire weather watch from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow for all of southern Wisconsin. Any uncontrolled fires could get out of hand very quickly, so keep that in mind. Don't do any burning tomorrow if you don't have to. Otherwise, for this evening, just enjoy the nice weather. Temperatures dropping into the lower 60s by late evening with partly cloudy skies. Later on, I'll take a look at our prospects for setting any records over the next couple of days in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, and with that warm-up, as Gary mentioned, state officials warning communities about the danger about fires. The Marshall Fire Department declaring a burn ban for its entire district through Friday. That means no burning brush piles, leaves, or open grass areas. Grilling is still allowed, but it is discouraged. And while we welcome these warm temps, Marshall's fire ban and that fire weather watch for all of southern Wisconsin for tomorrow brings a new set of concerns. Catherine Merck was at the scene of a fire that happened in Sun Prairie and tells us how to play it safe.
It's windy, it's dry, and it's warm. The DNR says all of these combinations make it very easy for fires to get started.
That's what this means, is if a fire does start, it has the potential to grow rapidly and get out of control.
Our own meteorologists say these nice temperatures we're seeing today are part of the problem, which will be in the forecast for the days ahead. The DNR says while these warnings are in place, avoid burning to stay away from starting a fire.
Under these conditions and prior to vegetation greening up, that fire danger really does change from day to day. So it's really important for the public to stay vigilant and check that fire danger before conducting any outdoor burning activities.
And last week, the DNR responded to 34 fires. It told us that all of those fires were small. Reporting from Sun Prairie, I'm Catherine Merck, News 3 Now.
Meanwhile, the city of Madison held a controlled burn at Olin Park today, but officials say they will not be doing any more this week because of that high fire danger ordinance.
This is probably the last day we'll get to burn this week because tomorrow is supposed to be even drier and windier, which will make it really extreme fire behavior conditions.
Crews say they might pick things back up next week after this weekend's expected rain. The burns are done to maintain the habitat by removing dead leaves on the ground so native plants can grow. Meanwhile, Madison police arrested a woman after 2 young children were found in a hot car outside Easttown Mall. Officers were called to the food court area after the children were found in a vehicle that was running and parked illegally. Police say the temperature inside the vehicle was warmer than it was outside. The 28-year-old woman was arrested and is facing charges related to child neglect. New at 5, Monona police are looking for a suspect involved in a car chase that ended in a crash. Officers tried stopping a vehicle near Stoughton Road, but the driver wouldn't stop. A brief chase ensued that ended with the car crashing at the intersection of Buckeye Road. And 3 people ran from the vehicle. 2 were taken into custody, but police are still looking for a third. Officers later searched the vehicle and say they found drugs and a handgun inside. Democrats have announced Chicago will host their 2024 national convention. That decision comes after President Biden personally chose the city over other finalists, including Atlanta and New York. Chicago, solidly Democratic, and holding the party's gathering in such a pro-union city, again, Democrats say, demonstrates President Biden's commitment to organized labor. And that means both political conventions will be held in the Midwest, not far from here, with Republicans set to be held in Milwaukee next summer. Milwaukee city officials are calling for more support from Washington. Past cities that have hosted a major party's national convention have received $50 million in federal funding for security costs. Officials say they will need more since the convention is expected to bring in 45,000 visitors to Milwaukee. They're asking for $75 million. That additional funding would cover police staffing hours, metal detectors and x-rays, as well as communications equipment. A final decision on that extra funding is expected in the fall. Now to Washington, where police are investigating a shooting at a funeral home. 1 person was killed, at least 3 others seriously injured in this attack. Police say the shooting happened shortly after a funeral ended for a victim of a homicide who was shot to death last month. Officers say the suspect is still on the loose.
We haven't identified a gunman, but it appears that the individuals who were standing in the block were targeted for some reason, and that reason we're not sure.
Officials are asking for the public's help to find the person or persons responsible for that shooting. And it comes as the country is still reeling from the latest string of mass shootings, including 5 people killed at a Louisville bank just yesterday. And Louisville police have released body cam footage today of the confrontation with the shooter. 5 employees were killed when the suspect opened fire. A responding officer was also critically wounded. Police have confirmed the gunman was an employee at the bank and bought the murder weapon 1 week ago.
Under current Kentucky law, the assault rifle that was used to murder 5 of our neighbors and shoot at rescuing police officers will one day be auctioned off. Think about that.
A Louisville hospital says blood donations from the Red Cross were critical in yesterday's life-saving efforts. An interfaith vigil is planned for tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Tennessee's Republican governor is calling for tougher gun laws. The push comes 2 weeks after 6 people, including 3 children, were killed at the Covenant School in Nashville.
It is possible and it is important that we find a way to remove individuals who are a threat to themselves or to our society, to remove them from access to weapons. I'm asking the legislature to bring forth thoughtful, practical measures to do that, to strengthen our laws to separate those dangerous people from firearms.
Governor Bill Lee says he wants a bill passed during the legislative session, which ends in a few weeks. Lee also announced a new executive order that requires criminal activity to be reported to the state within 72 hours and requires state officials to review the current process for purchasing firearms to look for holes where information is not shared efficiently. Also, a new poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation found more than half of families living in the U.S. have been impacted by gun violence. Michael George has the details.
Many Americans are not following recommended gun safety practices when storing guns. That's according to a new KFF survey, which finds 3 in 4 adults in households with guns say at least one gun is either unlocked, loaded, or kept with ammunition.
The American Academy of Pediatrics and other medical and public health groups recommend storing your gun safely because kids are curious. And if they find a loaded, unlocked gun with ammunition, they may well play with that. Gun death has now become the leading cause of death among kids and teens, and many of these are preventable deaths.
Dr. Celine Gounder is a CBS News medical contributor. The survey also finds about 1 in 5 adults say they've been threatened with a gun or had a family member killed by a gun, including by suicide. The majority of people surveyed sometimes worry a family member will be a gun violence victim. Significant disparities were also seen.
Black adults were twice as likely as white adults to have had a family member killed by gun violence. Black adults are far more worried about their kids being caught up in gun violence, being injured in gun violence, than are white parents.
And despite the public health push to get doctors to talk to patients about guns, only a quarter of parents say a pediatrician has ever asked them about guns in the home. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And 1 in 6 people surveyed say they have witnessed a shooting. That's according to the Kaiser Foundation. That number is 1 in 3 for black adults. Next at 5, Gary has our complete First Warn forecast. Plus, what's next for a Tennessee lawmaker who was reinstated to his House seat after being expelled for protesting gun violence. And tonight at 6, there's a shortage of a drug that helps fight severe strep infections. What parents should do if they can't find that medicine. That story next hour. And a check in the markets. The Dow up 98 points in Tuesday trading. The Nasdaq off more than 52. The S&P 500 basically flat today. We'll be right back.
It's time to march into deer season. Get your John Deere 1025R with a 120R loader for just $195 per month. Get a John Deere now and
Power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
It's spring, and Slumberland Furniture is celebrating with 20% off our low prices on gorgeous new furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Plus extra discounts on sofas, bar stools, accessories, and Slumbercrest mattresses. Right now, get this Ashley sofa for just $399 in your choice of 2 colors. Incredible! Did you know Slumberland has the lowest prices on Ashley product? And get an extra 20% off mattresses too.
You and running have been together for a while now. Fact is, so has Morgan's Good Form Running. Every run is more than just a run. It's about finding oneself. Movement in a new pair of Hokas is good magic. Gear up today at Morgan's Good Form Running. Buy a pair of Hokas and experience the difference. Why run when you can fly?
Experience the comfort and style of Hoka. Visit us here today at Morgan's Good Form Running.
Morgan's Good Form Running, Hilldale.
When an appliance you rely on goes kaput, you can count on family-owned Brothers Maine, Southern Wisconsin's local appliance authority since 1938. With thousands of in-stock options, we have the brands you want at the lowest prices guaranteed. Even big box can't beat our prices. Our experienced team of appliance experts will help you make the right selection, and we deliver it fast and free to your home. What you need when you need it. Shop appliances you can bring home today at our Madison and Janesville showrooms. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
With Dad's arthritis, he struggles with housework and bathing, so I called A Grace. Yes, A Grace. With their age-at-home service, Dad gets the help he needs to stay independent at home.
A Grace, caring every step of the way.
Do you know the secret to having the perfect lawn? Maple Leaf Landscaping does. With their 6-step turf care program, you can have a beautiful lawn all season long. Check their website for special discounts and leave the yard work to Maple Leaf, your year-round property care experts.
It's time to march into deer season. Get your John Deere Gator utility vehicle with 0% for 36 months and no money down. Get a John Deere Gator now and
Power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
Tonight on News 3 Now, the DNR says southern Wisconsin is under a high fire risk. We'll tell you ways to stay safe.
And there's nothing like warm temperatures to break that cabin fever. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has some surprises in his forecast tonight at 6.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather. Trust the experience of Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti and the First Warn Weather team to help you plan your day and alert you whenever and wherever you need it. First Warn Weather, keeping you ahead of the storms. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
An expelled Tennessee lawmaker returns to the House chamber after being reinstated by the Metro Council in his hometown of Nashville. Justin Jones walked arm in arm with fellow Democrat Gloria Johnson, met with loud applause. Johnson had avoided expulsion by the GOP majority by just one vote after protesting for tighter gun laws in the wake of the shooting at Nashville's Covenant School that killed 3 children and 3 adults. Jones had a message for Tennessee's Republican leadership.
My message to Cameron Sexton is that your attack on democracy, thank you, because it's galvanized a nationwide movement.
Tennessee law states that the successor of an expelled member only needs to be a, quote, qualified voter of the district. Members can also not be expelled twice for the same offense. Pearson, by the way, the other lawmaker expelled, could be reinstated as early as tomorrow in his district in Shelby County. President Biden on a trip to the Emerald Isle to mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. The 1998 landmark peace deal ended decades of deadly violence in Northern Ireland. But Nicole D'Antonio tells us new tensions are threatening to undermine the settlement.
President Biden touched down in Northern Ireland for a visit both personal and political.
Keep the peace. That's the main thing.
The trip comes 25 years after the Good Friday Agreement, a U.S. brokered deal which largely brought an end to decades of violence in the region. Tensions have escalated in Northern Ireland in recent days, with dissident Republicans attacking police vehicles with Molotov cocktails. Hours ahead of the president's visit, police recovered 4 suspected pipe bombs from a cemetery near the city of Londonderry, following a public safety operation.
President Biden is scheduled to speak at Ulster University in Belfast Wednesday before heading to the Republic of Ireland to pay respect to his heritage.
Residents of Carlingford in Ireland's County Louth, where the president's great-great-grandfather was from, have been anticipating his arrival.
The mood in the town is the most important man in the world, as we call him, a local. He's a local person. He's coming home to, as president of America, the most, a great achievement for the area.
During the 4-day trip, President Biden will also meet with Ireland's president and prime minister, as well as address a joint session of parliament to discuss U.S.-Irish relations. The president will spend Friday, the final day of the trip, in County Mayo, exploring his family genealogy and delivering remarks. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Former President Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, will be in Ireland as well over the weekend to mark the 25th anniversary of the peace deal. Well, we hope you like warm weather. Here's your First Warn forecast and Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
At least for the next couple of days, we have the potential for setting records for warm overnight low temperatures and daytime high temperatures. Tomorrow, we haven't changed the forecast at all, so we're still looking at the potential for setting a record for the warmest low temperature tomorrow morning. I've got a low of 58. The record is 56, but the high temperature of 80, probably a little bit below the record high of 86. Thursday, a better chance of setting a record high temperature because we have a forecast high of 80, but the record high a little bit lower at 78 degrees. Record warm low temperature, a little bit warmer at 61, so that might not be able to be exceeded. But not a drop of rain across the upper Midwest. And you can see wind gusts right now in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. They are stronger out to the south and west, and that's going to be a concern for tomorrow because you have strong winds, you have those warm temperatures, and look at these relative humidities. 25 to 35%, but they drop the farther west you go. Notice Fairmont, Minnesota, 20%. We're starting to see some teens in the percentage range for the relative humidity over the western portion of Iowa. So as the temperatures warm up, the difference between the dew point and the temperatures drops the humidity, and the potential is there for fire danger. So there's a fire weather watch for all of southern Wisconsin, as well as north central and northeastern Illinois from 11 a.m. tomorrow through early tomorrow evening. Red flag warnings for high fire danger already for western Iowa into parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, and we may need red flag warnings here tomorrow. Current temperatures, Boy, look at these. 75 Madison, but La Crosse is at 81. Most of the upper Midwest seeing very mild temperature, or very warm temperatures. In fact, parts of Nebraska and Kansas close to 90 degrees right now. So we're seeing that warmer air continue to stream in our direction, and expect high temperatures to be a couple degrees warmer for tomorrow. And notice the absence of clouds, or where there are clouds, are just really thin clouds like we have overhead here. So much of the country, again, dry, other than the Pacific Northwest and right along the Gulf Coast. A few showers in the eastern portion of the country, and that's pretty much about it as far as precipitation is concerned. Planning your night, clear skies, unseasonably mild weather for tonight. Low temperature 58 in Mount Vernon, 58 in Middleton across Dane County, and 58 for the low temperature in DeForest. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, low 57 in Janesville, 57 in Platteville, and 61 for the overnight low temperature in La Crosse. That's about what the average high temperature is this time of year. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, windy, unseasonably warm, near record high temperature at 80 degrees. Our first warned 7 to 10 day forecast. Thursday, sunny and windy as well. Record high of 80 expected. Friday, 77. But then shower and thunderstorm chances start to return later Friday night into Saturday. Then we turn colder. In fact, by late Saturday, early Sunday morning, those showers could even mix with a few flakes of snow into early Sunday morning, and that would happen again Sunday night into early Monday morning. Temperatures cool for the start of next week. They warm back up to the lower to middle 60s with some rain chances at least toward the end of next week. As we check out first warn traffic, the Beltline right now eastbound starting to pick up in speed a little bit at John Nolan Drive. There was an accident there earlier. You can see still delays on the eastbound Beltline from starting around Whitney Way all the way to John Nolan Drive, and then a little bit past that into the area around Monona Drive. Right now, about a half-hour trip on the eastbound Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. The normal 15 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, 24 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990, 16 minutes Middleton to Sauk City on US 12, and downtown to Sun Prairie, East Washington Avenue and US 151 takes you 18 minutes. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
Thanks, Gary. The Babcock Hall Dairy Plant on the UW-Madison campus has recently gone through a more than $70 million renovation. For 72 years, it's been a hub for dairy research and training. And in all that time, the building had never gone through a major renovation project. That is until now.
It was getting a little worn down and out of date as far as how industry processes product in the world today.
Renovation funded by the university as well as private donors and state government. There's a grand opening Thursday with a public open house set for Friday. Coming up, how employees working from home are having a major impact on the commercial real estate market. That story next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
Raising healthy children takes a village, and kids thrive when their village is healthy too.
SSM Health and News 3 Now are helping you unlock a healthier world with our Time for Kids Keys to Health campaign. We'll show you how sustainable choices create healthier lifestyles. Explore the impacts of food security on families.
And share ways we can help build a healthy community together. Join us on air, online, and in your village, and take time for kids.
All right, team, we got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
Imprint for certain.
At Lawton Cates, your life counts is more than just a slogan. Because around here, we're all about comebacks. Whether it's helping you recover after a car accident or return to the job following an injury, it's us fighting the odds and the insurance company to make sure you get the compensation you and your family deserve. No one loves a great comeback story more than Lawton Cates, which motivates us to fight for our clients every day. Your life counts. Lawton Cates. Call us today.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Investors and regulators are on high alert for signs of trouble in the financial system following recent bank failures. Now they're honing in on a downturn in the $20 trillion U.S. commercial real estate market. Gloria Pasmino explains the potential threat posed by America's empty offices.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought a major change to how many businesses operate.
For so many people, not going to the office as much as they have before has had a really seismic impact on commercial real estate.
And a potential problem for America's banks.
There's no question that there is some risk in the system associated with these changes simply because so much has changed.
Across the U.S., offices sit vacant or underused. Average occupancy is less than half of where it was in March of 2020, according to data from security provider Castle. And that is dragging down the value of these properties.
The real question is for the owners of these properties, whether they are experiencing financial distress or will in the future.
The problem, banks lend significant money to this sector. Goldman Sachs estimates that 55% of U.S. office loans sit on banks' balance sheets. The decrease in values puts more strain on already stressed out banks.
We're well aware of the concentrations people have in commercial real estate.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell remained confident when asked about the danger posed by commercial real estate last month.
The banking system is strong, it is sound, it is resilient, it's well capitalized.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
And we'll have a final check of your First Warn forecast in just a moment.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way. All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Upgrade the look of your deck with Menards. Pittsburgh Deck Cleaner removes dirt and mildew stains to restore your deck. Apply before staining. A 2.5-gallon container is $14.99 after rebate. Complete your deck's makeover with Pittsburgh paints and stains. Pittsburgh Stain and Sealant protects and highlights the natural beauty of wood. UV light and abrasion resistance ensures a beautiful, long-lasting coating. A gallon of ultra-advanced semi-transparent stain and sealant is $34.49 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-based recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
When they invented the wheel, this is exactly what they had in mind. Stay on the fun side of the bridge.
Let's play.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Can you stay at home and shop for a vehicle in your pajamas? Yes, Bergstrom Automotive offers express purchase so you can complete all parts of your vehicle purchased online. Or you can come in and see us, even in your pajamas. And the cookies are always fresh. So you just bought a vehicle from us. Will we give you a week to drive it and return it if you don't love it? Yes. Love it or return it? Yes, it's that easy. You've been told no before? Join the Bergstrom Automotive family for the yes. Bergstrom for the yes.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point. And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We've got a lot of news to cover tonight. Many Americans are seeing a drop in their tax refunds this year. So our series, Tax Time, continues tonight on how you can maximize the money you're getting back. Important information ahead tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Ever wonder what happens to all that stuff people leave behind in their unclaimed baggage? A new Alabama museum will soon showcase those oddities left behind. A store called Unclaimed Baggage is creating an exhibit. They've actually been in business collecting this merchandise for major airlines since way back in 1970. The museum will feature 100 of what it calls rare finds, things like suits of armor, ancient artifacts, even shrunken heads and a live rattlesnake. This museum is in Scottsboro, Alabama, not far from Huntsville. It opens April 21st.
What'll they think of next?
Oh, my goodness. Gary's here. Final check of the forecast.
Well, the skies are sunny. The temperatures are warm. The problem is the humidities are down. There's the live view from the WIC-TV Skycam. Just hazy sunshine out there. Platteville Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Pretty much the same story over southwestern Wisconsin. Look at these temperatures. Right now, Janesville close to 80, Madison 75, La Crosse actually at 81, so is Boscobel. Here in Dane County, Middleton right now 78 degrees, 78 in Edgerton, 79 in Sauk City. Look for partly cloudy skies this evening. Temperatures dropping into the lower 60s, but remember, fire weather watch for tomorrow for wildfires.
It is a concern. CBS Evening News is next. We're back with more updates in 30 minutes.